New Dave comment. I thought in this video you basically said 80% of the Israeli population had voted in a poll in such a way to imply that they want Palestinian death, which would make them Zionists, so 80% of Israel equals Zionists, who you then spent the rest of the video explaining are basically the same as Nazis and doing a genocide. Where exactly am I supposed to gather from that you have any regard for or empathy for Israelis? Yes, Zionists are disgusting monsters who deserve no empathy. The small fraction of anti-Zionists in Israel are a different story. All right. Have some TTS. One sec.
Destiny, I hope you have an amazing day. Wow.
You crying like a beta, weak beta male. Anyway, Emma hop off the homeboys are calling.
Chat, I got some of the Vosh sauce for you.
You are locked into 96.7 DGGL. Coming to you live from your mom's house. Coming up, we got a brand new release from a legend in the game.
Mr. Spaghetti, you need to condemn the genocide against the Palestinians of Gaza. Pray, I don't call CPS on you for making too much noise. I'm a professor of ha-hos, and I will be respected miffin.
Have you ever seen the dudes on the China show? I'd love to hear you talk to one of them. They have great subjective experiences on China.
Did you see the clip of Senk saying that Ukraine and Israel together to keep Russia distracted in war so that Russia can't help Iran?
China is so progressive and gay. Just look at this video. https://streamable.com's ride var 40.
Destiny, can you tell Norm August 1st to move out? His stomping shakes me in the walls.
Yo, Destiny Darius told me that you needed some help with tech stuff.
Mr. Mudin, why are you continuing to associate with Mr. Borrell? He is an illiterate genocidal Zionist motormouth and a fantastic moron who only reads Wikipedia. I will get you thrown in jail along with Mr. Botticelli. If you were brown, I would have you deported. If you had a shield, I would have them taken away, and then I would have them deported as well. Ha 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 ha, it's your choice, Mutin. Mr. Morelli or Western Giardelli?
I'll go Western Giardelli.
Imagine the tech elite get their way and the world splits into mini digital city-states, each with their own dictator. Now imagine DGG has its own city-state. I'm reminded of the episode of South Park where the city must have a giant gay orgy.
Didn't Piers watch the Professor Dave video? This kid can't be anti-Semitic because Jews are even Semites.
Keep that hamster in the cage.
Hello?
Mr. Moton is a teacher's pet that tries to regurgitate 5-day-old Destiny talking points to impress his boss. It's really cute to watch Lucas playing with Legos while you hang out in a Discord chat all day. Doesn't count as a job. I'm so sorry.
Professor Dave heavily implied at the beginning of his video, it will almost certainly be demonetized. He's now been able to solicit over 10K in YouTube donations. The video doesn't seem to be demonetized. Is this a cash grab?
Steve, it's me, Dream Joe Biden. Dream Pisco is planning a dream assault tonight. I just wanted to give you the heads up, but also let you know I'm on your side. I've been practicing my dream magic to protect you.
Oh! Bring on that boy Parsec. I would like to kiss him on the lips.
This episode is brought to you by AG1. AG1 is a powerful blend of neurotoxins that creates a brain fog powerful enough to protect you from brain damage during Hassan React content for periods of as long as 20 minutes.
Wow. True. Mandela Barnes is dropping out of the Wisconsin government primary. His campaign spent $146K. Are they all dropping out? Oh, now we're about to find out who's left. This needs to happen more often.
Has turned it into the single most profitable scam of his. Please sit down. Please sit down.
APAC genocide.
Part of the same con with you and Trump playing off of each other. Oh, he's worse. Oh, he's worse.
But the genocide.
You were put on notice in November of 2023.
Thank God, finally, somebody's talking about the genocide. Yes.
Other legal and human rights organization. Notice on potential legal liability for aiding, abetting, inciting, or conspiring to commit genocide for congressional acts and demand. You were put on notice.
He was.
Back
the genocide. Fuck. God, that makes me so fucking mad. They backed the genocide.
How dare you talk about corruption?
Thank you for your diatribe. Now, let's continue. Let's continue and let the people didn't come to hear you.
Oh, the voice, real voice, real voice, real voice.
It's amazing that you can show your genocidal face in public.
Ooh.
Mr. Senator.
Ooh.
Mr. Senator. Shame on public citizen for not allowing questions to this genocidal maniac. Shame, yeah. Corruption. What could be more corrupt than not allowing questions?
About a genocide.
Sorry about that. Let's continue with the subject at hand.
Ooh. What do you got to say about that, Mooten?
They're doing a genocide.
So it's a fucking joke to you. Okay.
What do you want me to say?
No, that's good. Your
Genocide
position
bad.
will be noted when Bane takes over society, okay? Apparently this guy has a whole unhinged past of crazy tweets and statements. I'm not going through them all now, but this Eric guy. If we drew and quartered this donkey, Representative Fine, one of his legs could feed Yerevan for a month. Founder of Ondural Palmer Lucky is a legitimate military target.
You know, I don't think anybody's a military target.
Except for settler babies, right?
Nope.
Every data center in your community is a valid military target, and you are a human shield. Okay.
Mr. Borelli. It's love, you idiot.
It is funny that in that podcast he was talking about how, like, in China we all look forward to technology and we love it, but he understands the mission in America is to foment as much like hatred and distrust as possible. So here we can't have data centers. Only China gets data centers. We must hate them all.
Is it already over, man? Did we already lose?
No, because something is going to happen that
got
once
my
the
champagne
once the
bottle.
lawsuit ends, okay, we're going to turn this country around. All right. Once the lawsuit ends, whew, we're going to be.
The lawsuit should be over soon, right?
Yes, soon.
Big
Certainly,
chilling.
right? They have no evidence, so it must be over soon, right? As soon as we
Surely
get
she
our
won't move the
hearing.
date again and cause me to lose another hotel.
Mm-mm.
If this hotel gets fucked up, I'm just staying on your couch. I'm actually just moving in.
Wow.
Just no.
During a genocide, huh?
Yep. We can do a genocide in the bedroom if you know what I'm saying.
Wow. So you think you can use jokes during a genocide too? Interesting.
Well, that's where you're wrong.
Really?
I don't think it's a genocide. Triple S. I think it's the worst genocide ever.
No, too late. You can't virtue signal on that one.
No, you misheard.
Are you spending money each time the hearing gets delayed? No, not really. Nothing's happening. It's
You didn't
just-
have to rebook his flights?
I don't know. I just haven't got my bill for the end of the month, so hopefully not. That'd be pretty funny, though. It's like, yeah, we had to rebook all these huge first-class flights, so it's going to be an extra $30,000.
Well, if it's first class, it's probably they can already rebook for free, hopefully. the donos back on, man.
Do you know how many iguanas I have killed? My pool runs red with the blood of iguanas.
Oh, that's so funny.
Misspeak.
I stand upon a mountain of iguana corpses.
Some of these look like furries dressed as iguanas.
Problem.
Wow.
It's metalite, son! These cummy fucks are fucking done, mate! Be wide-eyed of the Peaky Blinders! Hello, Gabbicles here once again to say I hate all bongers.
Where's this energy, lil bro? Why you looking so submissive and breedable? Oh, no community because you ban anyone who makes slight fun of you? Oh, all whoever weak dick sucks, just like Hezen. LeMayoX.com, the omniliberal status, 207217727, 011107000111070005.
Okay.
He would never ban someone for a disagreement.
Correct. Well,
just building my Lego. I got good progress done today.
And then on top of that,
Did you?
they lose out on consumption.
No
Right?
slaves consume.
Yeah, I don't support the bombing of...
oh my god, you argued with the same guy.
Why did 23 Chinese
China, man.
lesbians fly to Thailand to make a dating show? Short answer, we couldn't safely make it in China. The original plan
Lies.
was to film in
Propaganda
Shanghai,
lies.
my hometown. But then the police got...
Uh-oh. Oh. What's up? Hussein?
What do you want?
Nope. Nope.
You're muted.
Yeah, he's working on it.
Hey, what's up, Stephen Heimutin?
Hi, what's up?
Hi, you were covering you were making some comments on colonization under the retards video,
okay,
like the commie guy.
If I had a one-wish Willow,
You,
I would wish
he
that
made
left
a
it.
claim that wasn't true,
Uh-oh.
and I think you also made a claim that wasn't true. But we'll address this first. He said that specifically that the European states did not leave any infrastructure behind when they were colonizing, like countries in Africa, but that for
Wait,
for
I
example
said
in
that?
Ethiopia. No, the retard, the commie.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Hassan's brains.
No, he said that, which is just blatantly false. In Ethiopia, the Italians, when they invaded and colonized Ethiopia, what they did is they built one of the largest infrastructure projects in East Africa. So they built a long system of roads, and they built a long system of like trains, and it's still used by Ethiopians to this very day because the government does not build any suitable infrastructure for transportation. So actually, a lot of the roads in Ethiopia that people use are from the Italian colonization. So I just want to address that because it was kind of obvious. It was kind of like a bullshit point.
Okay.
Thank God for the Italians.
Not really. They use like chemical warfare on like the imperial soldiers.
You got roads, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But,
Okay, Mutin.
Mutin, is that worth being gassed?
stuttering.
With like sarin gas? I am stuttering. I'm sorry, King. But is that worth being gassed by like chemical weapons?
I think
Would
Mutin was
you take
joking.
that?
I would take that, yeah.
Shut up. Go. Okay, next point.
Okay, the next point specifically was that you said something in regards to like how colonization is only viewed like by the West, and that you said a lot of the borders were not bullshit, and I disagree with that.
Okay.
I think a lot of the border I'm using Ethiopian examples because that's more what I've read up on. In Ethiopia,
Oh, I don't know about the
borders
African
between
borders, to be fair. I'm only talking about the Eurasian continent, so.
The Eurasian continent. Do you want to clarify so I don't like mischaracterize your statements?
Yeah, Eurasia.
Okay.
Or Asia, I guess, I don't know.
Okay, and then I was just talking specifically
Were
about
there
Africa.
mandates
Yeah, go
given
ahead.
south of Egypt?
Mandates?
Like
in
I was
what
thinking,
regard?
like when I said the borders seemed to be, they worked fine. I'm talking about like after the Ottoman Empire fell, and then they did that whole mandate program with the Sykes-Picot
Mhm.
Agreement or whatever. That it seems like for the most part, most of them stuck. I don't know if any parts of Africa were included in that. though.
Well, there were mandates in Africa, but I would actually push back against that point because the Sykes-Picot border between Syria and Iraq divided up the Sunni Arabs that lived in eastern Syria and western Iraq, and that was a huge driving force for ISIS to get support. So, like, there was a famous propaganda video ISIS released. I haven't watched it, but I've heard of it. That they physically destroyed the border between the Sykes-Picot border in western Iraq and eastern Syria to unite the Arabs, unite Islam. So I would argue, and I'm not arguing in favor of ISIS, obviously. I would argue that that border is largely bullshit and led to a lot of the conflict in that region.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay. And then for Ethiopia, the mandates in Eritrea and Ethiopia is just completely retarded, and that's mostly because there are ethnic groups that are split up, and that was the cause for the Eritrean revolution in '61. Which led to like the 30 years of strife and the rise, like the brutal communist regime in Ethiopia, which I'm against. And even to this day, there is still a lot of conflict between Eritrea and Ethiopia. The recent like actual genocide of Tigray, not like the Palestinian genocide, like a genuine genocide of the Tigrayan peoples, was because of that border.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Well, did you disagree with any of that, or?
I don't know. Fuck. I don't know anywhere near enough about Africa to have big disagreements. So if you say it, I'm gonna assume it's true.
Okay, well, that's all. Thank you.
Okay.
Much love.
I love you.
Love you, Moon.
One love.
Really? One love? Even for Nazis?
Yep.
Okay. Interesting.
Involved. You know, I've been making. Why did 23 Chinese lesbians fly to Thailand to make a dating show? Short answer, we couldn't safely make it in China. The original plan was to film in Shanghai, my hometown, but then the police got involved. You know, I've been making queer content for over a decade with my platform Out China, from documentaries to podcasts. And because of that, almost every time I went back home, I got invited to drink tea with the police. Even on Chinese social media, our show got banned. Posts disappeared. Search results stopped.
Wait, what's so bad about drinking tea with the police? That sounds like an awesome, wonderful, wholesome interaction.
That's why so many Chinese queer creators give up. Not because there's no audience, but because the system exhausts you first. So eventually we realized if we wanted to make this show freely, we had to leave. And that's why 23 Chinese lesbians ended up in Thailand. For 1 week in Chiang Mai, people could flirt openly, talk about sex openly, fall in love openly. No VPN, no coded language, no self-censorship. And I think that's why the emotions on the show became so intense.
I'm going to
because
Thailand.
Once people finally feel safe, a lot of buried feelings come floating out. Queer people deserve spaces where we can exist naturally without constantly calculating risk, even though it only lasted for a week. Why did 23 Chinese...
Why was I watching this clearly pro-Western propagandized piece?
What's that little island that makes all of those semiconductors and the chips?
Hawaii. What about it?
No, I'm talking about a different one.
Japan?
It's a Chinese island. East China, I think.
Oh, Hobbit wants to come on.
Oh my god, bro. Drag him up. How's your watch? Have you worn it again?
No.
Oh, bro.
Why would I? Where? I'm gonna get robbed. I will for my hearing, though.
Good. I'll be there. Do you think Doe will be there?
Yeah, no, she doesn't give a fuck about it. That's a good one, though.
I had a dream about your hearing, that I was there, and then it was like a multi-day one for some reason. And the judge at the end of the first day kind of like went up to Doe's side and was like, you guys might want to just drop this.
Oh my god, is that a good omen?
It could be a good omen, yeah.
Hobbit's coming, guys. Hold on. Oh, he said 2 minutes. Ah, this guy.
Where's J. Dr. Fernanda?
Today's catch! Tad!
You needn't yell. We can smell you coming.
Lick my worm!
Oh my god!
So then,
Tyrion!
Fisher woman, you caught yourself a lover yet? Love seems more a burden than a prize.
Sorry.
Who's my mom?
There's absolutely no shame in living out your remaining days alone.
I'll marry ya.
Hello, hello.
What's up, buddy?
Hi. What's up? Is that what you're waiting for? What's up? You remember that one? Anybody remember that meme? Mootin definitely doesn't, but my millennials will all know that one.
Mootin's too young.
It's too something, yeah.
Okay. So I just really quick wanted to touch base on something that a clip got posted in the subreddit a few days ago where basically we were talking about people's reaction to, disagreements that are on stream or things that you're, fighting about, and specifically like the DSA leftists, like now in like the Josiah and Pisco realm. I just kind of wanted to get your pulse on what you've seen and how you're feeling about that in particular, because it has been a few days since you talked about it on stream, like the reaction stuff on stream. How do you feel about the reaction from the community?
I mean, like, people reacted. I thought they reacted well, but I feel like people are still a little bit unhinged. Like, people will always say, like, oh yeah, true, we should definitely chill a little bit, and then they definitely won't be chill. That's just the reality of every community-related thing, I guess, but yeah.
Yeah, so the thing that I'm having a hard time with, and I'm just trying to get what you are wanting. I know that a lot of what you've been focusing on over the last few months is being like, as a community, more involved, I guess, in the things that we are doing online, as whether it's on like subreddits and in YouTube comments, on Twitter, things like that, and reacting and kind of pushing back against, I think it kind of started with things that are said about you, and now it's kind of been just, in a good way, it's kind of been to like support a lot of the like values that the community holds in general. But what I'm seeing is a lot of people like giving a lot of smoke towards specifically Josiah. I don't know if you know this, but Josiah put a message in the subreddit today basically saying that he's not going to be talking in DGG anymore. Did anybody send that to you?
Jesus. No.
So I'll share the comment with you. He just basically ends it by saying that it's the final post that he'll do in the subreddit. It's in response to he reposted that crystal ball tweet. I know you brought that up like briefly, like somebody said it in chat. And it's basically crystal ball is a fucking idiot. We know that, but the response is that he sent me some DMs today, and he was just saying that like he's having a lot of people in his replies that are being a bit crazy. And it kind of went in line with what I've been seeing in the subreddit, where people keep saying that it's like a McCarthyism type thing, but I think that people are taking the defense that Pisco or Josiah are giving, and like they truly, like, people in the subreddit are saying that like Pisco's a tanky, and I have like my disagreements with Pisco and stuff and how he does stuff, but I don't think I'd ever classify him or Josiah or probably a lot of the people that defend these indefensible things that the left is doing. I don't think I would consider them to be tankies if they're defending that. And I was curious, like, how you feel about people going that far. Like, you don't, I mean, they're enabling it, I guess, but like, I'm to the point where like people are attacking like members of the community that have been around for a really long time that might be a little bit left of your positions or something like that, and maybe they like, some leftist positions, but they like hate Hassan, they hate the tankies, they hate this kind of stuff. But like, people are getting so crazy that even these people are getting called out as like secret socialists in the subreddit, and they're like not in any sort of way.
So like,
I guess
so here's a few things I guess to consider that make this obviously kind of challenging to navigate. So I think the first issue is, I don't know if Josiah said anything about it. I'm pretty sure Pisco did. I would be curious though. I think the other day, Wick, I want to say he retweeted something that was like a Fox News thing about Hassan Piker. Do you know if Josiah made a comment on that?
You're talking about the one that Pisco said, like,
I can't believe you're retweeting
Fox News now, lol, or something like, yeah.
I'll be honest, I don't know
Okay,
if
I just
Josiah
curious.
said anything about it.
I'm only asking because I don't want to like throw him in with Pisco here if he did. But like I get the feeling that it's basically that was the soy pill. I thought I heard Pisco riff on this as well when he was talking to I thought he was talking to Wick about it. I could be wrong. Maybe I thought Wick jumped into a call somewhere. It might have been on Live and Learn, or might have been on another show. But the issue that I have, I guess, is that well, there's okay. So let me preface with this one first. So any amount of correction here is going to feel a little bit brutal because I feel like this has slipped like so far in one direction that any kind of correction on this is unfortunately just going to feel like really dramatic because I feel like it's gone way too far. So the correction is going to be stepping back pretty far. Now that doesn't mean we should be shitting on everybody, but it's like a person who's never had boundaries before setting boundaries, and then all of a sudden everybody around them is like, wait a second, like this is really fucked. I was like, well, no, hold on, it's like we should have said these a long time ago. So any correction is going to feel a little bit brutal. But then on the second part here, it seems like the other people on the other side of this issue relating to like how do we deal with like Crystal Ball or Kyle Kalinske, they seem to have a very intuitive understanding of like Pisco was screaming so much at people like, what do you mean when you say exclude him from the coalition? What do you mean when you say don't work with him? What do you mean? And it's like, well, it seems like you guys have a really good understanding of that because anytime somebody like if we were to retweet Fox News or encourage anything that they say, it would be like a huge shitstorm of them coming out on Twitter and like being very nasty about it. And like I get it, but like so they seem to understand that like yeah, you can never engage in any type of rhetoric where you can retweet or amplify any conservative messaging because they're like the enemy. But then it feels weird on our side then when I guess we see them like retweeting like Crystal Ball, who I would consider her almost like for this election cycle irredeemable. Maybe in 2028, maybe there's a path back, maybe, but not that she cares. Like it's not like she's looking to Destiny's opinion on her if she's redeemable. But I think she's just so far fucking insane and gone. So it feels weird that I guess people are constantly attacking us or like being very critical of us, saying, well, we should have standards about who we allow in. But then these other guys have literally no problem whatsoever retweeting and amplifying the worst of the worst of the worst on the left. And I guess that's a difficult position to navigate, I guess. I'm not entirely sure. Like we just listened to Hassan talk to 3 different people. We listened to him, and then we listened to the guy who's been coaching him. And then we listened to Megyn Kelly all do this thing where all of them seem to understand very adeptly that like you cannot give any credence to your enemies. You have to like zero-sum game them. Like if they're gaining ground, then we're losing ground. Like you have to be as brutal as possible with them. And everybody else seems to get this. But then on our side, you have this world where every single lib platform is all of them have already been infected and rotted by tankies. And even in like our strongest lib areas, we're not even allowed to say like maybe we should just like have nothing to do with these guys. Like you're forbidden from saying that. And yeah, and that talking point is just like it's so frustrating. I mean, I don't want people to be mean to the friends of the stream and all that. And I saw like Josiah, yeah, like even I don't hate Pisco. I don't think they're secret tankies, but the permission structure that these guys have like all facilitated is just so fucking toxic. And then, people will say, they'll accuse us of like, oh, is it personal? Is it personal? It's like, I mean, it's genuinely not for me. Like I said, I think I have enough of an internet history to show that I can let bygones be bygones and I don't take anything personally. But like, if we were to talk about like having the biggest like excuse in the world to like be allowed to take things personally, like these guys like Hassan and all these people have literally doxed us and mass harassed us, greenlit like all these other harassment doxing campaigns, like greenlit and reread logistical shit. And it's like, and all of these other people are like part of this network, and it's so frustrating seeing. Yeah, I don't know. It's frustrating. And then as a final thing, sorry, like to see, and I can't really fault Josiah for this. The soy pills community. Now I guess he's finally decided that he's like stepped away from at least MySpace. I don't know about all the libs or whatever. To see soy pills community be fucking insanely unhinged against me. And I think they still are. Pisco's was for the longest time until I think he had to just ban all talk of me in his community. I don't think Josiah's is. I think they're like a normie lib community. And like all of them, that's just a thing we're expected to deal with over here for so long. And we can't have any standards or anything when it comes to people that we want to align ourselves with. Like, yeah, I don't know. That's just crazy.
What were the people saying on the subreddit? Sorry.
On our subreddit?
Yeah, like were they being unhinged to Josiah, or were they just saying like, I don't think that this person's an ally, blah 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 blah?
No, they're saying things like, I can't believe. Like I'm paraphrasing, but I think Hobbit can back me up. I think if he thinks I'm correct, but it's like Josiah, I can't believe Josiah's a fucking idiot that he doesn't see this shit. It's so fucking obvious. He's so fucking stupid. Like it's stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like.
Which to be clear, I feel like that type of sub is too extreme. That's too extreme.
I would agree.
Yeah, I just wanted to be clear.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So that's actually what I wanted to talk about. So it's hard because we have basically like I would say 85 to 90% of the subreddit generally will react to things that you're talking about, things that are talked about you, and they're pretty measured. Like, there's a lot of different people that, like, for the crystal ball thing and him retweeting, people are saying like, oh, well, you know, a broken clock is, you know, right, blah, blah, blah. Like, they're pretty measured in what it is that they say, but there is that, like, you know, 10 to 15% of people that will go unhinged. And I think that the issue that I'm seeing the most is around, like, the leftist stuff. So I think that, like, we have people on the subreddit saying that they'll vote for Mike Rogers over El Sayed. And, like, I don't like El Sayed at all. But, like, Mike Rogers was somebody that in 2020 told Trump that he needed to concede the election and denied all the, like, election denial stuff. And then in 2024 and in 2026, he has reversed that. And he's, like, full-blown into the election conspiracy stuff. I was looking it up the other day, and, like, he has people in his campaign that are, like, pardoned people from the election scheme.
Like, shouldn't those people just be argued with on the subreddit? Not, I don't know if you're talking about excising them or whatever, but, like, those people, I think you would just argue with them in the comments.
Sure, but I think that the issue is that Destiny will give a take, like, let's just say, like, the JD Vance thing. Like, I don't necessarily agree with you on the JD Vance thing, but I understand where it is that you're coming from. But people will take that, and it's like they try to do, like, Destiny's reasoning on stuff, but it's just, like, so flawed. And what it turns into is, like, those comments get upvoted, and, like, and I know, like, that's stupid, like, it's just an upvote and things like that, but, like, you have, like, this sentiment growing where, like, people are saying they won't even support, like, El Sayed is what he is, and he campaigns with Hassan, and he's a fuckhead and stuff like that, but, like, he's not, like, the worst person that's come out of all of these elections. I think we can all agree that, like, the Daria Lisa person is probably the worst of all of them. But it's like we're treating everybody that has any sort of positive towards any of these people as if they are tankies within the community. What we're seeing is a lot of people saying that the community is being overrun by socialists and all these different things, and it's just not true. I put out a post the other day asking people to give me examples of it, and I got one person tag me this morning in a post that was pro El Sayed, and that person got banned while I was asleep because they were, like, some Bosch person. I don't know. I guess I'm curious if, when you're looking at the subreddit, do you see this? Do you see us, like, having some sort of, like, leftist movement within the sub that's tanking the sub down or anything like that?
No, it's not the issue is leftism. The issue is, like, whether or not there's apologia for it and facilitating, I guess, like, them taking over. One of the big issues I've had in the past in my relationships personally is I'm a man of no boundaries. I just don't give a fuck. I'll do my own thing, okay? And in one sense, I thought this was, like, a good way to negotiate interpersonal relationships, business relationships. But there's one bad thing that happens where people feel like they can't do anything for you, but that's not relevant. There's a second thing that happens, though, that I notice about myself that I have to be very careful of, and that even for me, even if I don't have any boundaries, I don't care. What happens is if I have a partner express a boundary, it actually irritates me, or if they don't like some behavior or whatever of mine, it irritates me, and I realize the reason why is because, like, well, if I'm never complaining ever, well, then why the fuck are you complaining, you know? And it's that the double standard just ends up fucking with my mind, and there's not, like, equal treatment there, but it's impossible for me, right? So then I have to realize, like, how to deal with the boundary stuff, right? I feel like people can't live in a world where two sides are treated so unbelievably differently, and even when you bring up the El Sayed stuff, right? So leftists will never support our candidates. They will openly attack our candidates, and they will openly slander the fuck out of our candidates, and they will openly purity test them around the most extreme issues they can find. So we say, like, well, I'll say it's not the best, but, you know, he's probably better than Mike Rogers. Meanwhile, the other guys will say, this person took APAC money one time, you can never vote for them ever. And if they're enforcing those standards on their side, like, we can try our best, I think, to, like, keep the community kind of chill. But, like, you're talking, like, I call these, like, very, very high entropy positions. Like, you can very easily be radicalized or scooted out to feeling like this is fucking bullshit in a microsecond just because of how insane the double standards are. I don't think it's sustainable or tolerable. I just don't think you can, like, survive that. It's just the double standard is just so huge, I think.
So you're saying it would like piss off the community if we moderated against it a ton, while so the lefties or whatever act like how they do?
Yeah, it's just hard to like, how should I show any kind of like solidarity or sympathy or like, well, we have to vote for, like, we have to support El Sayed, or we should never say we're not going to vote for him, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, these guys, like if Stevens gets in, they're not going to support her. And we know it. And we've seen this happen over and over again. Happened in California, happened in the last election cycle. It's happened, like, we know this. Like, they say it almost openly. And it's just, there's no way that that's like a sustainable project. I think people would either become conservative or they would just like, you know, they become apathetic to politics and
Just be like, yeah, fuck it. Yeah.
Also, I'm rambling on. You can cut me off. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say that we're going to just start banning people that are doing these kind of things, but I like what I see is people like if you were in Michigan and El Sayed wins the primary, like you're voting for El Sayed in November, right?
If I was, I mean, like
over Mike Rogers.
I mean, like I would want to, but it's like the ask there. I think depending on how much you engage in certain spaces, it's a big ask, because you're saying that like I'm voting for a guy who I understand has cast his lot in with a group of people that want to fundamentally destroy my party and who fundamentally think I'm an evil that needs to be wiped from America. But like, I'm going to make the deal with the devil here and vote for this guy because I think he might be better than the conservative. I mean, like, you can do it. And I guess maybe, I mean, I'm still at a point where I think I would encourage people to do it, but I just think that people are taking for granted like how big of an ask that is, and we're just treating it as like, well, it's so obvious that the non-MAGA candidate is going to be better than the MAGA candidate when Trump's not even going to be there anymore, and then who knows how big the DSA type people are going to get, and yeah.
My idea is that the Senate is too big to lose, and I would vote for anybody that has a D next to their name for senator. For Republicans, like the lady in New York, I'm not going to campaign for her. I'm not going to tell people to vote for her. I'm not going to do anything except donate to the next time that she's up for re-election to get primaried. I think the House, we have seats that we can wiggle with. The Senate, we don't. That's my opinion.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like in these like D+20 districts and stuff, like we don't need to be like outwardly. So we don't even need to outwardly support El Sayed, but it's like we do still have 2 more years of Trump, and him gaining another. Like gaining a Senate seat or keeping a Senate seat is a pretty big deal. I don't know. I guess I'm just. I think that people are taking it a bit too far, because I think even if you are bringing up a good point that like these people would never do this for us. Why would we do it for them? It's kind of bullshit that it's always like, well, we have to be the better person. We have to think about all these different things that they're just able to be like, oh, no, 8-pack. I'm actually just morally against it, and I'm not going to ever support anybody that does that. And they're just able to just like hand wave away any sort of pragmatism.
Sure. Real quick, it's not just that it's like, oh, it's bullshit, like that sucks. It's like, this is like a strategy that, like, if we play with this in long term, like, it will lead to the total destruction of our party, and then maybe more, depending on how dramatic it gets. Because, like, these people are, like, subversive communists that want to take over the Democratic Party and fundamentally change the United States of America. So it's not also just like a meme of, like, well, we lose and they win and blah, blah, blah. It's like we're talking about, like, a radically transformative movement that is, like, openly and avowedly stated their goals to, you know, fundamentally transform the Democratic Party and the United States. So it's like it's being asked to engage in a war with, or asked to engage with people who you know are going to ultimately try to be destructive to you and your movement. But then also, like, there's times when I say these things, like when I do like the tit for tat thing, people are always like, oh, so you want everybody to kill each other. And it's like, well, no, the reason why I have these views is because I don't want people to kill each other. Like, I'm hoping that this stuff like won't happen is the goal. And the reason why you do the tit for tat is because if they know there's going to be the tat, they don't do the tit. The problem that I have right now, and I said this over and over again when speaking to Josiah and to Pisco, if I thought that there were a whole bunch of people on the left who could adequately push back against all of these lunatics who are socialists, then actually I wouldn't give a fuck at all, right? Like on paper, like AOC is an obvious answer over Vance. El Sayed is an obvious answer over any Republican. But when I see that nobody on the left seems to be capable of giving any pushback whatsoever to any of these people, then I'm like, well, fuck, the bigger these people get, and it's probably somewhat of a snowball effect. Once they hit a certain size, like, it's fucking over. The critical mass is, like, done. And nobody seems to be able to say anything. And I'm not really convinced that they ever will. And I don't even know if their views are actually changing. I can't tell. But, yeah, that's, like, kind of my issue, I guess.
Well, because, like, what I see, and you can correct me if this isn't your position is that, like, we see all these things that have happened with Trump over the last 2 years or year and a half or whatever. You see somebody that is able to wield the government in a way that we never have thought possible. And so if you have this growing part of the left that eventually, infects the entire thing, that potentially in 2028 you could have somebody that would do something, maybe not like to the extent like with civil rights and things like that. They'd be doing it in a different way, but like there's the potential that somebody could, be a leftist Trump in the way that he wields power in government and do like a lot of harmful shit.
Yeah, theoretically, but I mean, like that's down the line. I doubt that's like the next election cycle. But like, what if it was, what if we hit the point to where there were enough DSA people that we could no longer even talk about like a public option, like Medicare for all was the only option on the table. Now we have to fight our own party when it comes to public option or even health insurance related stuff. Or what if it's like we actually do have to withdraw from NATO because we can't even fund our military because there's enough of them to hold up all votes on funding the military if they feel like we're part of NATO. Obviously, like discussions about Ukraine are probably completely off the table if DSA gains enough seats in our party. And it's just like it's a growing faction that we know we are going to have to like fight to the death against because they're going to be fighting tooth and nail against fucking everything like they, at least have been in these election cycles. So I don't know. Yeah, it's just the fact that nobody shows any desire to push back against these people or fight against these people is what makes it so nerve-wracking for me.
Yeah. I don't know. I was trying to just see what your pulse was on the whole thing because to me, it does seem like people are swinging just a bit further than even what you're trying to say against people that, like I don't even like putting Pisco and Josiah in the same camp because I think that Pisco is much worse at this whole thing in how he like, I don't know if it's like a permission structure or whatever that he creates for these people versus Josiah. I think like I've always liked Josiah ever since he started to make YouTube videos and stuff after he stopped in or he kind of transitioned from TikTok to YouTube. And to me, it's sad to see that people are attacking him in the way that they are. That I feel is like justified in the way that like Josiah, you need to at least. We're not saying that you need to make a bunch of videos, but like listening to those Twitter Spaces, he's not even like that's not even his content. He's not even streaming that Twitter Space or anything like that, and he's still like carrying all this water for Kyle and Crystal. I think at one point he had said like, even if they completely trash the Democrat in 2028 or in 2026 they trash the Democrats during midterms, is that enough to show Josiah that they're an issue? And I think he said no. I think he was like oh, it might be like on the way to making me feel like these people aren't our friends or whatever it is that he said. But it was basically like, even if they showed you in the midterms that they are not on our team, will you take that seriously? And he still kind of said no. And I don't know why he's like that. And that's the thing is like I have a really hard time because like Pisco I think is more left than he leads on. I don't think he's a tanky at all or anything like that. But I think he is in the camp of like, well, if these people took over, at least we might get like Medicare for all kind of thing.
Sure.
Kind of like soy pill in that way. I don't know. It's just it's hard to see people being attacked that Josiah is a strong liberal, and I don't know. It's kind of like what
I do agree,
we were
but I mean,
dealing
at
with
some
when
point,
people were attacking Hutch.
Yeah,
and I'll just say I was right on that. When everybody was going after Hutch, I was correct that Hutch is a good guy.
Yeah, I think.
And people said that I was sweeping for him. Anyway,
Gotcha.
I feel like we're running into some issues again.
Yeah, I guess it's just hard. Like at some point, like I don't know how to communicate this, without sounding infantilizing or mean or whatever. But like at some point, like you might have to make like tough political stands, and the tough political stands aren't just saying like bad guy bad over and over again. Like you might have to be willing to say like, okay, like my party is out of line here, and we have to be willing to have that conversation.
But he doesn't feel that.
Yeah, I don't know, or he feels like it, but he feels like it's just not a big deal.
Well, I don't think he feels it at all, is what it sounds like. Because otherwise, I think he'd be willing to have the conversation about it. But anytime it's talked about, he is, and I don't mean this in a mean way, but he's like dismissive of it. And he's
well,
like,
I think because from his perspective and the things that he sees, he just doesn't feel like it's a big issue at all because he sees a limited number of seats. Like my guy, I'm still of the theory of mine that he's being legitimate with his feelings. He's not like lying or masking on or whatever.
No, I agree.
But I just don't think he feels like it's as big of an issue. But I don't
think
know.
he feels like Trump is such a big issue that any amount of power that you take away from Trump is a good thing.
Yeah, I guess, but the issue is that like Trump is gone in 2 years, right? And we need to be ready for what comes next. And if there was ever a time to like audit the party, the time is now. Like the lefties all know this, and the righties know this. That's why you've got all these weird Tucker Carlson and everybody are like trying to jockey for position for whatever the next thing is. So everybody understands this. And the lefties in our party understand it. They see the grounds are, the sands are shifting, and maybe there's an opportunity to do some big meme stuff. But everybody else seems like they want to just bury their head in the sand. It's like, well, no, we need to focus on Trump. It's like, Trump's going to be gone, bro. We need to worry about like either Rubio or Vance next. And yeah, I don't know. It just feels like an inability to deal with that is not good. I just a little disappointing, I guess. Yeah.
I don't know. I guess in my mind that if these people are going to carry water for, you know, Crystal Ball or Kyle or whatever it is, like I don't think that Josiah at the very least carries any water for Hassan. Like I don't think that's a thing. I think Pisco does.
But they're quiet about it, and that's basically just as bad because then Hassan basically gets to dictate everything.
Wouldn't it be better for the community to be spending more time attacking Hassan or attacking Crystal or attacking Kyle on their views than Josiah than attacking Josiah for not attacking them? Does that make sense?
No, because we're always supposed to attack them, right? We're the enemy. So that's like the expected behavior. Like if other libs, like I think right now the reason why people like Hassan and everything are getting so much more pushback is because I'm being a little bit more shameless in terms of like telling other people that like I think we need to be able to expect a little bit more. Like I think David Pakman is hopefully a really good first step. Like him making that video I think was really good. I think it was a big deal. I don't know if he would have made that same video if I hadn't been pushing people like, hey, libs need to talk about this. We need more libs talking about this. This is really important. Libs need to talk about this. Because Hassan and all of them got to dictate everything.
I don't know if he'll make another video again.
Maybe, yeah, because those people understand. Yeah, they get the mission. You saw the did you see the Ryan Getty comment that Hassan, yeah, like they know, they understand the mission, right? And they will go so brutal. You saw him going in on IRI for being Israeli. You saw him go in on Hutch so many different times. You see him like patting Pisco on the back every time he's a good boy and does the proper Hassan Slapa or the soy pill when he's watching them. Like everybody else understands the loyalty mission on like the far left and then the MAGA people. They all get it. But it just seems like for some reason our side is the only side that doesn't understand. It's like, okay, fuck, we really do need people that... It's not enough to just be silent and not join the attackers. Like, we kind of need to be proactively defending our side. It's kind of an important thing.
I think the people on our side kind of do get it. The only exception is, in my opinion, Josiah. Hutch gets it.
I feel like Hutch is the only...
about it.
Hutch and Lonerbox are the only two people that seem to understand this.
I would be curious to talk to IRI about it. I haven't seen his takes on it.
IRI is cool, but IRI kind of seems like I just want to grow. Like he's cool and I love his politics stuff, but it's like he doesn't want anything to do with any of this like messy or weirder shit. Yeah, which I get it, but it's like that's where the fight is right now, and how do we deal with that? Yeah, and then it seems like by the time these guys all have like tests, where it feels like by the time they would think it's a serious problem, it's way too late at that point. Like we're way over being able to do anything about it.
Yeah, I guess like my thing would be like for Josiah, like I would have liked to have seen Josiah put out a video talking about David Pakman and who it was that was attacking him. I mean, because it's still happening like right now. It's not like that thing that happened last week is not still happening. I don't know. I feel like they are, especially Josiah is a little bit cagey to attack the left at all. I know IRI is like a hopeless optimist when it comes to like any attacks on the left. He will literally support everybody, but that's kind of his thing. I don't know, but I guess my main question was, do you think that the community is better spent, pushing on, Crystal and Kyle and Hassan and stuff like that versus pushing on Josiah and Pisco and I don't know.
I mean, a little bit because like the problem is that like the problem is that like I've complained about this before. It can't only be my community doing everything all on its own, and nobody else is ever willing to jump into the fray on everything. That's not sustainable.
Yeah, one thing that, and I hope that he does actually do it and puts it together is Hutch was saying that he's going to put together like a compilation of Crystal and Kyle just shitting on the Dems and calling them like MAGA light and all that kind of stuff. Because I think in one of your guys, I don't know which Twitter space it was, but Josiah was like really pushing on him that he doesn't know that Crystal, Kyle, and the majority report like talk shit on the Democrats. I think that the thing that Josiah is naive about is that these aren't just like people giving feedback. It's like actual like huge criticisms and calling the Democrats like no better than these people. And I don't know, maybe Josiah makes those type of videos, those 15-minute long videos, and maybe when he consumes those people's content, that's how he consumes it. So he sees like these raw cut things, but I don't know. All I want to say is for the subreddit to chill out just a little bit. Not all of us are socialists. Nobody's brought up that I came from Bosch's community for a long time.
Wow.
Because that doesn't matter anymore. You know, so
noted.
Let's not attack each other when...
I'm going to start bringing it up now.
Me too.
Yeah.
Everything makes sense now.
But yeah, the subreddit is explicitly anti-DSA. So anybody that might be listening to this that wants to go and try to launder the DSA's reputation, we will permanent ban you from the subreddit.
Sheesh.
And I will not care about it. But please be nice to Josiah. You can kind of be mean to Pisco because I think he's 10 times worse.
Jesus.
Just don't be unhinged at Josiah. If you have general political disagreements, I would say go ahead. But like, make arguments. Don't just throw out hate.
Yeah, that's. I guess that's what I'm going for. Is like I feel like a lot of it's not constructive, and it is more just like trying to got you Josiah on everything that he does. We don't need every Josiah tweet posted in the subreddit. Like he's still a good dude. Just be nice to him because otherwise it is going to push those people away.
Sure. Although, like I know this sounds mean, and it's hard for us as libs to even consider it, but like I would be okay creating more distance and space between us and those people, and just trying to find people that are more proactive. Like I don't think you ever build any kind of like successful long-term political thing when nobody is willing to stick up for you at all. Like it's just like not.
Well, that's why we should be like
pathetic.
Supporting David Pacman versus
I agree,
attacking Josiah.
Yeah, which is good. I like when people are linking his stuff or whatever when his comment sections and stuff are still getting shit on, but yeah.
Oh, and just
like notice how like anytime, not to, again, it sucks that I have to say, oh, not to make it personal, but like anytime, notice how anytime Hassan gets attacked by basically anybody, every leftist content creator, the Vanguard, Emma Vigilant, all these guys are like making like, oh, I can't believe they attacked Hassan for this. Like they're not being quiet. They're all super proactive about it because it works, because it's good for enforcing like a group, like political project, basically. Yeah.
Don't know what my PSA was going to be, but it must not have been important. Yeah, I just wanted to see what you were thinking, and because it made me upset that Josiah wasn't gonna, and he doesn't participate in the subreddit a lot, but like where he's getting enough pushback and he even said it in a tweet that like he doesn't think that it represents the majority of DGG, but there is enough people that are turning him off to where he doesn't want to participate in at least part of our community anymore. And that's sad.
Yeah.
Not like he does anyway. It's not like he hops on stream or anything, but
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Well, everybody, stay safe, be careful.
Oh, I remember what the PSA was. We are being brigaded in a fucking insane way. Okay, so everybody that is putting in reports, thank you for putting in reports. It helps us see these people that are in 30 comment deep threads that are very hard to see unless you like, open up every single thing. But let's not put in reports for everybody that you disagree with, because that is pretty fucking annoying. Oh, I am going to link this in chat real quick. Our liberalism is currently looking for moderators, and I have put myself in to become a moderator on our liberalism. It is in the chat, so if you could please boost my comment with upvotes, try to put a foothold in there so that some crazy person like all of Reddit, other than our subreddit, it seems like, doesn't get in there and just fuck up the whole thing. And anybody else that is a big Redditor, you know, you should put your name in the hat as well. If you take liberal values seriously and you want to defend them, I think that anybody that is interested in that should apply for that moderation position. But if not, again, I will link it one more time. Please. Oh, I can't do it. It's too much like the last message I sent.
Damn, liberalism defeated.
Yeah, but please boost that comment because that would be a really cool thing. And then, yeah, support David Pacman. Support him on his subreddit. Make sure that all of these people that are brigading him, that brigade us as well, are also getting pushback. Downvote anything that you see. It does help get those people out of those spaces. So
New directive. Download any meanness.
What?
Replies.
Download any meanness.
Downvote.
Oh, downvote.
Any meanness.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I wanted to plug that liberalism thing and then just see how you were feeling. But yeah, we'll go back to it, and hopefully everybody's having a good summer.
Cool. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Yep. Talk to you later.
Bye. Get a load of that guy.
Beta.
Well.
Well.
TTS on. Love the Democratic Party more than anything else in the world.
I've got a message here. It says, "You're a bitch."
Steven, drop it low and make it clap.
Honestly, why can't we deport Hassan Piker? I mean, seriously, what does he actually do for America? He is literally a foreign agent, Destiny. Can you put me in contact with Daniel Saltmanstein? This Gentile must be deported. Glory to Israel.
Israel should just start genociding cause lefties say, just like DGG is always a harassment community cause lefties say it. Norm in another universe.
Okay.
Open up, chimps. Oh, thanks for opening the door. I didn't expect much from you animals.
Okay.
Now for that little gorilla.
Okay, Jader, I don't know about the gunshot sound effect. I feel like it's too edgy. For now.
Jader.
Jader.
The Fitness Gram Pacer test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test that progressively gets more difficult as it continues. The 20-meter pacer test will begin in 30 seconds.
No,
Line
I
up at
always
the
failed
start.
this
The
shit.
running
Oh,
speed
no.
starts slowly but gets faster each.
Thank you.
How would you differentiate between well-meaning leftists and the subversive kind? I feel like you would... I don't want to lean on the, like, intuitive thing, but I feel like you kind of know. Like, you can kind of tell just in terms of, like, how much are they giving a free pass to people. Like, if you think that it's important to elect Democrats and you think that it's important to beat, I guess, conservatives, then I don't think you would spend a whole bunch of time attacking the party or amplifying people that attack the party or giving people that attack the party a free pass. Like, I think you would say something about that. It would be difficult for me to imagine all of that just like passing by without any thought or feeling whatsoever about it. That's like, and I feel like it's pretty obvious to see that kind of stuff. I feel like you could tell.
Hey guys, it's me. You know, the only thing I hate more than Palestinians are well-fed Palestinians. Anyway, see ya.
Good one. Did you like your Norm Finkelstein court docs?
Those were funny. They were good.
He's pretty wacky.
Yeah, I'm just dooming a little bit. I mean, I feel like it's always DGG having to fucking moderate for other people's feelings, but nobody gives a fuck to moderate for our feelings.
True. What was the Pisco thing? Oh, are you supposed to ban every single person that says something bad about you?
At least he's got everybody stop talking about you. Based.
Oh yeah, because he banned just all conversation topics.
You just banned conversations around you.
Good one.
Beta male.
We can't have feelings. We have to be Fuck. What did they say? Wait, did you ever watch the V for Vendetta movie?
Yeah.
Remember when he kills the dude and he's like, I'm more than a person, I'm an idea, and ideas are bulletproof. That's why you can't shoot, kill me, or whatever, that thing. Gotta be that guy, okay. We need to get our oh my god, we should fucking do all the edgy atheist
We should get
fedoras,
masks.
Yeah, the Guy Fawkes.
Oh, let's get a mask on the DGG store.
Oh
Wait.
my
But like the DGGL
god.
guy.
Here.
That'd be
If you're one of the
cinema.
pussies
Hassan
in
would be
Professor Dave's
trauma.
comment
Imagine a bunch of people
section
showing up in
saying,
like
"I like tiny,
DGG
but his brain
masks.
broken on
Oh
Israel,
my
Palestine."
god.
Say that shit in DGG.
They would treat us
a
like
man
actual
die.
terrorists, dude.
They would.
People would lose their fucking mind on that shit.
If he calls you a stalker again, I'm putting up a lemonade stand.
Stop. A Guy Fawkes mask with my face? No, it would be with the little DGG guy's face. That's the terrorist one that everybody's so fucking terrified of.
But that thing, that thing scares me.
If it weren't for the centibillionaires hoarding everything, Jeffrey Epstein would never have harmed anyone. He should be walking free and alive with the
I
rest
love
of
that
us.
term. What a great place we're in right now. The centibillionaires.
It's centimillionaires.
Or the centimillionaires.
I know what you are. Now get to work.
What do you mean by that?
Good one.
Good one.
You got any cool plans? You watching any movies?
No.
I got my showing for
The Odyssey?
booked. Yeah.
Oh my
The 21st and 22nd of August.
What do you
Just
mean?
in case. Because I'm
Oh.
coming home on the 21st
Uh-huh.
from your court shit. So just in case, like, for some reason my flight gets delayed, I got 2 days in a row of good IMAX 70mm seats.
Oh shit. You've got
I got the Giga Theater.
The Giga Theater. Wait, what does that mean? Oh, like an IMAX.
There's like 30 IMAX 70mm theaters in the world.
Oh yeah, the true IMAX ones, yeah.
Yeah.
Fort Lauderdale's close to. Yeah, I think we have one down here in South Florida.
Ooh. Yeah, Fort Lauderdale is like 40 minutes away or something.
Hi, everyone.
Thanks for doxing
I
me,
want you to know that
Stop.
I'm in
Jay
Karachi,
Dogger.
Pakistan right now, and I stole $3 million from the Pakistani mob. I am going to spend the money on a wedding ring for my sister.
I don't even understand this meme.
Wish me luck.
Joining me live is President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Brilliant.
Okay. Wait, is it normal that there's no tungsten in your first spawning area? Do you have to...
Norm, like Finkelstein?
Do you have to kill the worm once to expand to some? Are we fucking serious? There's no way, right?
Oi, Stephen! I just saw the Professor
Yes?
Dave video thumbnail on the telly. I could not believe it. Seriously, how the fuck have you become a flat earther? Fucking disgusting. Probably because you play this stupid 2D game all the time.
He's right.
Destiny, also known as Sex Pestiny, from what I'm hearing, is my favorite liberal because he's so committed to his beliefs. Even this guy's marriage had open borders, folks. Great guy, that Sex Pestiny. Wish him well.
Fuck farmers. If you're a farmer, you're probably retarded. Farmers got fucked by tariffs in the first Trump administration.
We've heard this one before.
And what did they do? They voted for the same guy who said he was going to do even more tariffs.
Don't hate farmers. We love farmers here, okay? Farmers are real America, all right?
No, they're literally retards who want to sit in tractor and drive in circle.
Farmers are real America. Fuck you.
All right, so just a couple scenes from the Ken Martin DNC meltdown here from our friends, the New York
More
Times.
DNC meltdown.
In a peak of frustration in early July, he or Ken Martin, threw his phone at the desk of a junior aide while upbraiding the person. The phone tossing incident resulted in a formal complaint to the DNC's Human Resources Department. There was some dispute over how aggressively the phone was tossed. Mr. Martin was said to have thrown the phone at the desk rather than at the aide. I guess this somehow makes it better. Around the office and beyond, Mr. Martin has taken to making macabre jokes to colleagues about how long he will remain in his post, even though his term does not end until 2029. Here's from our colleague,
another
Lauren Egan.
iguana.
There's this overall progression of deterioration with Ken that I think people are noticing and starting to watch. His mood, his behavior, how he acts.
Newton,
People, this is according
look
to
out.
the DNC.
Hit.
Okay, pausing.
Sarah, does this actually matter?
I don't know that I think his phone throwing matters that much.
No, but I mean, like the DNC, like does the competency of the DNC as an organization matter at this point in the 2026 cycle?
I mean, it matters insofar as these organizations are meant to be fundraising juggernauts institutionally for capacity building purposes. And like you want for if there's a close race in Texas, like we just saw Talrico, whether or not this polling is right, a new poll just came out that has Talrico up 5 points over Ken Paxton. You want to be able to go to the DNC in the waning months of an election and say, hey, let's put $40 million more into Texas because it's really important. You want the DNC to be like, yes, that's what we're here for. And instead, to have an institution that is perpetually in debt. The other thing about the DNC is that they're supposed to sort of set an agenda of the conversation. Like Ken Martin, if he were a better communicator, would be, like, let's say Ben Wickler was in this role, my buddy Ben Wickler. He'd be on TV all the time, hammering the overall sort of top-level narrative that Democrats want to see.
Okay. Now, ideally, I think this is true. But realistically, has this ever happened ever? Does anybody even know what the DNC and the RNC is outside of like right now? I guess it's kind of politically relevant. Like, I feel like generally we just don't ever look to these bodies to do anything ever. Now we're like desperately looking anywhere. So, we're pointing the finger where we can be. But generally speaking, I just don't think we see this happening very much.
I think the average person thinks of the DNC as just the people who host the party that the president when he wins the primary.
Yeah,
like,
unironically,
genuinely.
yeah, maybe, yeah.
And so I understand, I don't know if your question is leading or not, whether you want to say like the DNC doesn't matter that much, but I just think functionally as a place where you are supposed to be able to collect money and deploy it smartly and help build infrastructure, like it's mismanagement and then it becoming the story. It is both not fulfilling its purpose and in fact is becoming an anchor, right? Because it's a story in itself.
What I meant to say is that, like, do we live in an age where the money is just flowing to alternative institutions and alternative? You know what I'm saying? It's not a question of like, if the DNC doesn't raise this money, nobody will, right?
That's
like the money's
what I
out
was
there.
going to ask.
This is what I was going to ask you. Okay.
My impression is that people like Talrico are raising a lot of money for their own race, and so the money is being raised and helping the close races. It's just not funneling through the DNC.
Oh,
first.
it's real for sure.
Is that correct? And does that aspect of it matter, Sarah?
Okay, so right now, if you look at the actual fundraising totals in the major Senate races, the Democrats are wildly outraising the Republicans. And I suspect that has to do with some of the asymmetry where the Republicans are putting money into their, the NRSC, the RNC, whatever, and the Democrats aren't putting it into its institutions. They're giving it directly to candidates. I'll probably wait until this cycle before I sort of render an entire, whether I will look back, because it's an interesting new wrinkle in how people are doing this. And it's possible that just going directly to the candidates who get more favorable buying power in the media space, which is one of the reasons it could be seen as a positive. Here's where I think it can be a negative. Again, I think that each of the races can become and should become very unique to its state. It can often be helpful to have somebody that is taking a global look at things, though, and saying, hey, this is what's working over here. Hey, we see that if we invest money in this race, it'll cause Republicans to spend money in this race that then will take away from this race. I just think that that stuff can still be important. And also, it would be better to have a good, thriving ecosystem for Democrats than to have a deleterious one. But yeah, I mean, I take your point that it might not be like the biggest infrastructure issue in the world. I still think Ken Martin, if he cares about the Democratic Party, he should step down. And this is one of those where like the establishment was right. The establishment lined up behind Ben Wickler, who was, and a lot of the donors were behind Ben Wickler. And so the Democrats were like, you know what we don't want? We don't want somebody that's universally liked by all the party's leadership and by the donor community. No, we want to take this other guy who's like just buddies with everyone. And I've met Ken Martin. I just, I wouldn't give him any money.
Damn.
And he's not a bad person. He's a nice guy. But like, this is a moment where everybody in the Democratic Party,
I think that if I remember from my DNC interviews, I think that Wickler and Ken Martin both had pretty impressive runs in their state. No, I believe they did. And then O'Malley did as well, although that was an older one, or like more in the past. But I think Wickler and Martin, I think on paper, both had fairly impressive histories. But
strong leadership somewhere. And the fact that it is like, just, there's none of it is frustrating.
So I have another question, mostly for Sarah, which is on your point about the second main job of the DNC chair. Number one is fundraising. Number two is about message coordination. Does it make it a lot harder / impossible to coordinate messages when the party is undergoing sort of a civil war? Because a lot of the messaging seems to be more internal factionalist fighting. How do we, avoid pissing off such and such a faction of our party? The faction that is ride or die Medicare for all, or ride or die on Israel stuff, AIPAC stuff, versus figuring out messaging that will position the party well for the general.
Sarah, let me add a qualification to that question. Isn't it helpful to not have a single overall message so that these candidates who are running in really competitive states can have their own message that's distinct from some national Democratic, right?
Yeah. I mean, ideally, I do, but ideally they'd be complementary and they'd be working together. Again, like where the National Party can do some high-level narrative setting, like the Democrats are here to, affordability is obviously like the umbrella issue that Democrats are talking about, and then each state could sort of approach some of these things however they wanted to. But to me, Catherine, it's the opposite is true of what you're saying. Or it's not the opposite. Let me reverse it though. I think if you had really strong leadership at the DNC, let's say somebody like Wickler, who I think is somebody who could have really who would have earned the trust both of like the really progressive left and the more establishment types, and figured out how to sort of
what progressive left is looking at the DNC anything. I don't think so. I think that I feel like it's like there are problems right now and people are looking at anything they can to try to figure out like what can we blame or what could have been better or whatever. But historically, I just don't think the DNC or the RNC has had much stake in, like, even in the Democratic Party, we were looking to like our big like House leaders. Like I feel like I would hold like Jeffries more accountable here than like compare Jeffries to like Pelosi versus the DNC chair. Not to say that I'm sure there are things that DNC could be doing better, but I'm just not sure historically like how much of an impact we've looked at the DNC to have on anything,
If they want to get rid of Jeffries, like I'll hear it. I don't see enough of him on every single fucking television broadcast. And I'm sorry, but I think that's what the fucking House of Representative leader probably
especially
has
because
to
it's not like
doing.
Well, yeah, and also because it's not like they have anything
They're
going
not
on.
in league.
Yeah,
they don't have any committees. What the fuck are they doing?
And, well, yeah, there's not like big like legislative things being contested right now. It's just
settle these factions down, who could have been somebody who brought people to the table. Like that kind of leadership actually at a moment when people are really fractured could be enormously valuable. And I actually think that one of the reasons that we see, again, because people are so angry, I've written a bunch of pieces about this, the voters are so mad that they are open to more aggressive candidates. They're open to new ideas. They're saying maybe to some DSA stuff. I actually think that if you had something that looked more like an establishment that was adjusting to the moment, that showed that it had eyes on it and was thinking about it, like a Ben Wickler that was fresh, like, I don't know that that DSA stuff is happening because there's a leadership vacuum. When everybody's like, well, it's moderate versus progressive, I'm like, well, but what is the moderate thing? Like, we're not seeing somebody sort of lead on that front. And I think somebody like Wickler or a better leader there who were out there sort of setting the tone. Instead, there's this vacuum where everyone's just fighting each other.
So I prefaced my question to Sarah with, does this matter for 2026? Because I'm not sure it does. Maybe it does, but I'm not sure. But I think it could matter a lot for 2028. And I say for the following reason. It strikes me that as our political parties have lost power as an institution, that has diminished their gatekeeping ability. And that it does seem to me over the last 10 years that it turns out that a party's ability to gatekeep is really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that wrong, though? I mean, maybe this is wrong. Like maybe the Democratic brand is so bad that the Democratic Party shouldn't be allowed to gatekeep, and all they'll wind up doing is keeping out young, fresh, blah, blah. If the Democratic Party had been gatekeeping in 2008, they would have gotten Hillary Clinton and not Barack Obama. I don't know. So this is my genuine question to you is, where are you on the gatekeeping function of parties? Is it good or bad?
You want to go back to the smoke backroom deals with the cigars where they're choosing their primary.
That's what I would prefer,
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
Hell yeah.
I mean,
No, I'm 100% serious.
Yeah. I have mixed feelings about this. I mean, I think part of the problem with the current system is that if you really want to take a very cynical view, it can be actually quite profitable. I mean, in the literal term, you can make a lot of money. You can make bank by having a political operation whose sole job is to do the left of Democrats running against Democratic incumbents, right? That you can raise a lot of money. You can put all of your money into Facebook ads for like the super liberal, more engaged part of the wing, the Democratic Party wing. Get them to raise a bunch of money, spend it on more ads, take a cut of those.
I love these people, and I love all of their analysis. And maybe she's even saying this because she's talking to an audience, but it's funny listening to the discuss strategy, and she still uses the phrase like the super liberal. Like those people that you're describing as super liberal would literally kill themselves if they were described as liberal. Like they hate. But I understand that maybe to communicate to the audience, they just mean like very far left, but it was still funny.
Does JVL understand that these people aren't on our side? Because the only other person I've seen besides Hutch, obviously, is the James Carville guy, my king.
I don't know if I hear him talk about it as much. He definitely understands how annoying all the centristy fuck people are. I'm not sure. I don't know if he talks as much about that. I don't know.
All right, your next
having to think about whether someone is viable in a general election, or even trying to win a general election. And I worry that that's kind of the situation we're in right now, that the incentives are not particularly aligned for the party to actually win the election and then govern post-winning if they do win. And I don't know what the solution is for that.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, Republicans did this. They got the least electable candidate. He won anyway, and they have no ability to govern, and yet he's breaking the entire country. You know what I'm saying? Like life finds a way.
Yeah.
You know, like this is.
Yeah, but I ultimately care about governing, and
well, I do too. And what he's doing is governing of a sort, right? This is what I'm trying to get at. Is like, you know, we think like, God, if you give it to Trump, he's not electable, but turns out he is electable, and they do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm not. I guess my question is, I find the current system objectionable, but I don't know what the solution is at this point. Because if you do go back to the backroom deal type setup, first of all of that distrust that voters have toward the establishment becomes validated.
People talk about distrust, okay? I'm curious, and I agree that distrust is a real voter sentiment. Who has ever earned back trust, though, right? Like, we did a whole bunch of stuff related to Garland and the way that Biden Biden ran the government, and zero trust was earned back from any of that. And we made a lot of sacrifices to run that government in a very nice kind of way. So I don't know what the fuck, when people say, like, we gotta win back trust, I don't know what the fuck that means. How do we win? What has anybody done ever? Like, Trump is not winning back trust, even with conservatives on any part of the government. So what exactly are we trying to do here? I don't know. I don't know what that is supposed to even look like.
In a way, right? That you are like overriding the will of the people. And again, there are a lot of financial incentives for people to exploit that distrust, raise money off of that distrust, and demand donation or collect donations, collect subscriptions. Like there's this whole business model that is built on distrust of the elite or distrust of the establishment. And some of that distrust is earned, some of it is not earned, but you make it more earned when you try to like have a backroom deal. Does that make sense? But I genuinely don't know what the solution is to that problem. Maybe it is, to Sarah's point, stronger institutions within a political party so that they rebuild the trust. And when they do make the backroom deal, then people buy into it and they say,
I'm never getting my smoke-filled rooms, Catherine.
Yeah,
I'm reconciled to that. I know we're not getting it. But for instance, we might get a party strong enough to move the primary calendar around, which is something we're going to get to, so that it like makes more sense in terms.
Wait, I heard they took Iowa is gone.
What do you mean?
That Iowa is no longer going to be like the first place primary for the Democrats anymore.
Oh, did they? Why would they do that? I thought Iowa liked that.
Well, yeah, of course Iowa did, but I feel like the...
Oh, did somebody else come up and steal it from them?
I don't know. Well, I mean, somebody else has it now, but I'm not entirely sure why, but... You mean New Hampshire, not Iowa? Well, Iowa was the first, and then I think New Hampshire was next. I don't think Iowa and New Hampshire were at the same time, right? I thought it was Iowa first and then New Hampshire, and then they started doing multiple.
Which one's the memey one where you're
All
like
of them.
arguing with people?
Well, Iowa, yeah, was the first one, big one.
That's
And they do a
the thing.
caucusing, which is weirder, so yeah.
Of finding nominees who represent the whole party, right? Instead of parking, things in like Iowa and New Hampshire, which are a little weird. Makes sense for Republicans, but don't really make sense for Democrats anymore. Like South Carolina makes a lot of sense for Democrats. Sarah, where are you on this stuff?
On the primary calendar, or on
No,
what the structure should
don't
be?
jump the gun. Just on the power of the parties. Would it be generally good for the for the Democratic National Committee to be a stronger institution, able to exert more control over the Democratic Party itself as an organism? Or does that wind up being like a barrier to change? And you just, I mean, like, it is a barrier to change.
I do.
A barrier to like both good change and bad change.
Yeah, I think that parties, I mean, I've got a whole thing on parties where I think that we do need stronger parties. They have been, parties have been like insufficiently strong to avoid being hijacked by outsiders, but they are too strong to be really disrupted by outside forces, right? Like they still are. You've got two major parties. Yeah, you got two major parties. And so like they can be taken over, which is I think what you're seeing from the far left. Like they watched what the far right did or what Trump did, right? And they're like, he didn't say, I'm going to work outside of this party. He said, I'm going to take this bad guy over.
Nice.
And I think that
the
far left right now is saying what they call the establishment or the moderates are too timid. We need big, bold solutions. And like, let's just take over the apparatus of the Democratic Party. And, you know, there's so much to talk about within there because the Democrats are so much different than the Republicans. There's a whole chapter in my book, Republicans are from Venus, Democrats are from Mars, where I talk about all the institutional differences.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
If I recall from editing your
Republicans
book.
are from Mars, Democrats are from Venus. That's my title. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, my editor. They are so different, and like they have such different. Democratic coalition is so unruly, and it requires, and it's so many different things. Like the DSA left and black voters. When people are like the Democratic base, I'm always like, tell me about the base. Which one is your base? Which is the Democratic base? Is it the Warrenistas, the young progressives, the white progressives who are lining up hard behind like an Abdul El-Sayed? Or is the base the black voters, which is one of the reasons they're moving it to South Carolina, because they say, look, black voters are a big part of the base of our party, and so we should be more representative, unlike Iowa and New Hampshire. Anyway, whereas Republicans are so much more, it is identity politics irony. Republicans are so much more like just in one identity that Donald Trump could take over the party and basically transport all of their...
was win high school educated white males, right? I mean, this is the thing. The Democratic Party is really hard to organize.
There's so many of them.
The Democratic Party is really hard to organize because it is, as you said, so unruly because it's got, I mean, the base of it is so many very, very different groups. On the other hand, I think that also makes it harder to take over, right? I mean, it does make it harder for a single faction to like dominate the party because like
that's good because that's what parties are for.
Like
the parties are actually there to be this limiting factor around, okay, how do we create something that can include all of us? And I think that, so I think a stronger Democratic Party with strong leadership that figures out how to give all of its factions something and not everybody everything is a positive force.
I will say that I think one thing that I
True.
observed
Black
in the
voters
Democratic
will
Party
save us, guys.
in the way that they are trying to
No
copy the
copium.
Republican model is that to the extent that the Republican Party is this more homogenized group, not just demographically, but ideologically, to the extent that there is an ideology, it's because the Republican Party is really about one guy, right? It's not about a set of beliefs. Now it is. It's about one guy. And it does feel a little bit like some of the missteps that the Democratic Party has made in this current cycle have to do with trying to find their own savior, trying to find the one messianic figure in a way that unites the party. And there's been a bunch of reporting about Graham Plattner, that there were all of these political consultants who basically said, like, you're the guy who's going to save us. You're the guy who's going to bring us together and unite the party. And you know, it's like the search for the charismatic cult leader type figure that really did become the glue for the Republican Party that has not become the glue for the Democratic Party, but they're seeking for. And because that's what at least a contingent of the political operative class has been looking for, has been willing to overlook other liabilities. And I don't know if that strategy has been abandoned, but to the extent that it has been or will be, I do think the party is going to struggle to figure out what is the glue that holds these very disparate bases together who think about the world in different ways, who have different political beliefs. You know, the worldview of the Warrenistas versus the elderly black ladies in South Carolina is pretty different. And how do you find the connective tissue between those groups when you're not just uniting them under the umbrella of, like, here's the really charismatic leader? Because I think if that's your strategy to find the charismatic leader, it's a real crapshoot rather than coming up with like the message or something else that is the connective tissue between those two groups. But it feels like they're trying to copy that.
So let's just do the primary schedule stuff now then. So the new proposed order for the first 6 states for 2028 in the Democratic Party are South Carolina, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Mexico, Michigan, Virginia. That's interesting to me, South Carolina and Nevada. I mean, Nevada gives you a bunch of Latino voters plus a lot of service industry workers. New Hampshire has to be there because of their state law about being the first primary. New Mexico, kind of interesting. Michigan, Virginia, what do you guys make of this? And is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? How will it change the selection process? Who does it advantage or disadvantage?
Yeah, I mean, I think this speaks to what we were just talking about. Choosing a different Democratic base, that the Democratic base in South Carolina is going to be, more old black people, essentially, rather than young white Warrenista types. And I think that is going to certainly shade the politics or shade the chances for which political faction is more likely to win the primary. And the same thing with Nevada. A lot of Hispanic voters in Nevada who tend to not be as socially liberal as young white voters. And then you go back to New Hampshire and the others. But I imagine that this is going to select for a more moderate candidate than might otherwise have been the case. What do you think, Sarah?
I agree that it actually does, I think, tilt it ever so slightly in favor of a more moderate candidate or a black candidate. And those two things not necessarily having to be the same. But let's just go. I want to tell you. So in South Carolina, which is 61% white, but it's almost 25% African American. And in 2016, they went with Clinton. In 2020, they went with Biden. Nevada's interesting because in 2016, it went with Clinton and then went with Sanders in 2020. And I think because it is a very working class, unionized town. This is why Trump also sort of outperformed there with his no tax on tips, which was basically cooked up to help him in a place like Nevada. New Hampshire, which is like 87% white, went for Sanders and Sanders hardcore in 2016 and 2020 because these progressive movements, like the DSA movement, is fueled by college-educated.
Well, it's also like his home state. I mean, don't forget Hillary Clinton beat Barack Obama.
That's true.
There.
You're right.
I mean,
You're making great points. And then New Mexico was a Biden state. Michigan was a Biden, although in 2016 it was Sanders, which is an interesting. I looked back just to see, and I thought, well, that's an interesting.
I wouldn't have guessed
thing.
that or remember that.
Even in light of the Abdul El Sayed and the Haley Stevens race, just knowing that that's what it did in 2016 was interesting. And then Virginia was also a Biden-Clinton state. So it seems to me that to get momentum. You would need to, if you're a progressive, like a DSA, let's say you're AOC, you would have to survive South Carolina and Nevada, and then would need to win New Hampshire to regain that sense of momentum, survive New Mexico, and then head into Michigan and Virginia, which are probably more like even playing grounds for those races. And so it would theoretically be possible that you end up 3-3 coming out of those early states. So I do think it's pretty balanced overall. And it's weird. I think the one thing that I can't quite think through, I was thinking about Obama came out of Iowa so strong, not because black voters voted for him, but because white voters voted for him. And so I do wonder how, starting with South Carolina, what does that do to how people think about the psychology of it? They're like let's just say Kamala Harris comes out of South Carolina first, and everybody's like, yeah, we're not even thinking that's not real because South Carolina voted for the black candidate, but we don't think she's going to do well anywhere else. I just see it's going to change the machinations for. What do you think?
So I disagree about that. I think putting South Carolina first is important because I just don't think you can win a Democratic primary for president without winning black voters. I mean, just number wise, I don't think you don't have to wind up having the same numbers that Obama did over Hillary Clinton, but you can't lose black voters and wind up as the Democratic nominee. I think just unless it's a crazy 17-person field and you're only behind by 2 points or something. So I think it's really important to test a candidate's viability with the Democratic blacks early. And I think that can only be helpful. It's always been a little weird to have to make them wait and to give Iowa's been a very progressive state, just sort of ideologically, not woke, but in terms of the particular part view of economics. I don't know. I look at this and I see Virginia's a state of the new suburban professional Democratic base. Michigan, you have the auto worker Democratic base plus Dearborn and a bunch of Muslims and Arabs. Nevada and New Mexico get you a lot of Hispanic voters. South Carolina gets you a lot of. I feel like this is a pretty good. What we were just talking about, how the Democratic coalition is this giant unruly mess. This map is a pretty good representation of most of the centers of the base. I don't know. It just seems like it's okay.
Well, I've got two pushbacks to that. First of all, I think you're misunderstanding what I was saying about South Carolina because I agree with you. I think South Carolina is not a bad place to start. My point is that the commentary will focus on the fact that if a black candidate like Kamala, I think Kamala Harris is my specific example of this. Let's say she wins South Carolina. I'm not sure the pundit class, even her coming out of South Carolina, makes people be like, yeah, she's likely to be the nominee. I think that there would be a rejection of that and
depend on the margins, right? If it was a one-on-one race and she ran up, I'd have to Connor, maybe you can look at this for me. What margin did Obama beat Clinton by? I think it was 60 points or 50 points or something, right? And when that happened, people were like, holy shit, black, and it was not. I don't know if you remember this, but people
that was
thought
after
that Hillary
Iowa.
was going to do.
It's different. My point is when it's first. My point is Iowa. It's
maybe.
A lot of
I just don't
Iowa
think people
became
would
the
discount.
place. Iowa became the place where people would say, yeah, okay, it's nice everybody exercised their first idea there, but nobody stuck with that person. I'm not sure that couldn't happen with South Carolina, potentially.
It's possible.
Well, okay, but just to hone in on something you said, Sarah, you said that your analysis applies to Kamala Harris, who obviously has the baggage of having.
Oh, base.
Okay. I'm leaving. Fuck you guys.
Nah.
Modern charge prune. Current. Recent fish. Eddy. Racing and power. Something about electricity. Current is probably the anchor word because I see modern.
Oh, don't forget TTS. True.
True.
Open up! Goon Police, Goon SWAT Team, retain your files. From the order of Judge Joan Peters.
No sleep for you tonight.
Rivers
apes.
have Eddie? What is Eddie? EDDY.
Rinlux could. Rinlux. Rinlux.
Little Rivers? Okay.
Rinlux.